So I'm gonna get started today, and our subject today is all about sugar. So show me the sugar. And I may be a little bit nervous, but these are my peeps, so I should be okay. All right? Alrighty, let's go. All right. So today we'll talk about how we're gonna ditch sugar to try to drop some inches, and we can do this at our desk. For those who have not met me before, I'm Coach Sona, and I'm on a mission to coach in corporate women to become the CEO of their health. Because so often we are, badasses at our job, in the conference room, at the meetings, in our PowerPoints, and everything else that we do on a daily basis at our jobs, but we are not taking our health and doing the same thing. And so I want to change and shift that mindset where we don't only show up powerful in our job, but we also show up powerful for our health. So that is the mission that I am on. So you're in the right place. Let me get comfortable because it's going to be a long one. All right. So you're in the right place if you work a stressful and demanding job and you're not motivated to exercise, at least most of the time. You're in the right place if your work schedules make it hard for you to stick to healthy meals, plans, or habits. You're in the right place if your body doesn't look or feel the way it did about 10 years ago. You are in the right place. One second. If you know what to do, but you just don't do it. And that's with most of us, right? We know exactly what to do. We know how to eat the vegetables. We know how to move, but we just don't have that consistency or the motivation to do it. So here's what you'll learn by hanging out with me today. You'll become aware how to spot the sugars in your everyday food so that you no longer blame yourself for the roller coaster that we go through. You'll get the benefits of managing sugar in your everyday food so that the crazy dieting cycle that we're on all the time is a thing of the past. And then I'll teach you how to course correct very easily so that you can start losing inches and feeling more energized by managing your sugar. So, who's this training not for? If you're looking for a new quick fix, this is not for you. If you're perfectly fine with your stage selfies and your Photoshop when you do your photos, this is not for you because you want to move away from that, right? And then if you're perfectly fine with squeezing into those just in case jeans, not for you either because you need to fit into the clothes that you want to fit into and look great. So, a bonus if you stay with me is that I will be sending you a link to a 7-day detox friendly snack and meal plan for 7 days because I'll teach you and talk about all the different snacks that we are eating that we need to move away from. But I will also like to give to you a gift to say, hey, what else can I put into my plan so that I'm able to be successful moving forward after we finish this webinar. So who is Coach Z? So again, there's a few folks here don't know that by day I'm an IT portfolio manager for our cloud infrastructure team, and my forever job will be a health coach who is on a mission to help busy corporate women consistently improving their health habits. That is what I think I was born to do. But I didn't just arrive here. I used to be on a really old cycle that I think a lot of you can relate to. Always trying a new diet, going to the gym, working out for hours, then the weight would sneak back on, and then we'll go and I'll binge, then I'll feel guilty about binging, and then I'll start over again, and then I'll start a new diet. Paleo, no carbs, any of the 100 diets that are out there. I've tried many of them, and it's just the same old cycle. And then COVID hit, and then it took away the access that I had to the gym on a regular basis and forced me to work out at home. It also made me cook more, especially for lunch, because we couldn't go out to eat, so we had to make food at home. I was able to find a health coach during that time also. And within that time, I was able to reduce my sugar drastically. I also became certified health and life coach, which is where I found the health coach that helped me on that 12-week journey. And then that now leads to who I am and the things I do regularly today. So what do I do today? I work out 30 minutes, 3, 4 times a week. Well, for now, I'm kind of working on strength training, and so that's what I do most of the time. I prep food mostly for lunch, eat clean most of the time. I'm still working on reducing sugar. It's a work in progress. Still enjoy eating out with my friends, having happy hour with my girlfriends. And I can say that I'm in the best shape of my life, even though I am going through perimenopause. So I didn't just arrive here. It has been a journey, which I know that each and every one of you who's on this call is also on that journey. So, after completing a 12-week coaching program focused on, healthy habits, I really wasn't so shocked to see that I lost weight because again, I've been on many diets, and if you stick to anything long enough, you will lose some weight. I lost 18 pounds, 4 inches around my waist. My energy went up, and best of all, it's been almost 5 years later, and I'm still enjoying the way that I look and feel. But the experience had me thinking that this was strange. Like, I still look the same, I still feel the same. So, what was so different than all the other things that I've tried years and years and years ago? And one of the biggest difference was being able to stick to the healthy habits that I decided that that was the one that worked for me. And one of those game changing habits was reducing and managing my sugar, which is why I wanted to talk about that today. So fast forward, I'm about 6 pounds away from my pre-baby weight. I found a card that, back in the days you used to go to the hospital, they wrote like your weight and how much you are. I found a card and I'm like 6 pounds away from that. So I'm excited about that. I no longer have a big bloated belly, which was from the sugar and stress and perimenopause and all that combined. And I am not pre-diagnosed with diabetes. I just did my blood work, and for the past years, after doing my blood work, I am not pre-diagnosed with diabetes. My dad is on meds for diabetes, so was his father and his brother. And so it is in my family line, and I do not want to be exposed to diabetes. So sugar is very near and dear to me. So this is a subject that I love talking about. So what are you saying, Coach Z? So for my entire life, my body has changed the moment I chose to manage sugar in my food. And in fact, I can truly say that I feel sexy again. And my fiance, who's sitting right behind me, he tells me sometimes that, hey, baby, you look good. So I know I look good if he says it, because if I don't, I promise you, he'll tell me that I don't. So I intentionally eat or reduce the way that I eat so that I can actually reduce body fat and become healthier. And I'm hoping, it is my hope that I'm able to do the same for you today or spark something in you today. And trust me, if I can do it, so can you. So, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a nutritionist, I'm not a bodybuilder. And even though I may be a little bit more disciplined and motivated to push myself than you, I'm still a busy corporate woman who loves teaching about healthy habits that are easy to help change your body and your health forever. So now that you know a little bit about me, I'm hoping you can trust that the information that I share with you today, that I have done enough research and I've tested it out on myself and I've tested it out on ladies that are in some of my 6 weeks programs that has done this and has gone through this and know that the habit of sugar is very important. So a couple of things to keep in mind. Get out of your own way. I know we know a lot. It's about taking even just one action. I want you to walk away today just taking one baby step action. Perfection is always our enemy. And I say this all the time, it's better to do something small than nothing at all. So let's jump into this. So the first part of this webinar, this conversation is about awareness. So I have to read this because I want you to get this before you walk out. This is one of the numbers I want you to walk away with. The average sugar consumption among adults in US is around 77 grams per day, significantly higher than the recommended limits. For women, we are only recommended to have 24 grams of sugar for the day, which is about equivalent to 6 teaspoons of sugar. For men, it's about 36 grams, which is equivalent to nine teaspoons. So, and when we think about it from a corporate woman perspective, we rely on quick snacks and sugary beverages to get us through our busy day. Unfortunately, with that, we're consuming more than 3 times the recommended amount. So I want you to keep in mind 24 grams for the day. And let's start to see how the things that we eat on a daily basis starts to add up for us and how we are above that threshold. So let's talk about it in the workplace. So I pulled together some familiar foods that we eat, like breakfast bars and protein bars and granola bars and trail mix and veggie chips and smoothies and flavored yogurts, all of which have significant amount of sugar that has been added to them. So let's talk about like a breakfast bar that has 12 to 18 grams of sugar. Let's do a typical day with just what's on the screen. So you have a breakfast bar that has 18 grams of sugar. Then you said, for lunch, you're going to have a protein bar. And you're thinking that's nutritious, like this one on the right that says this is high in protein. It has 15 grams of sugar in there for one bar. And then you may say, well, I'll just have a little bit of trail mix. So you go to the trail mix and you have another one that has about 10 grams of sugar in there, but that's only with 3 tablespoons. And ladies, you know, when we grab some trail mix, it's not just 3 tablespoons, it's way more than that. And then you decide, I just need a cup of coffee that you added some sugar, or you have a frappuccino or another smoothie. And that has laden with sugar also. So, and you have not even touched your lunch or your dinner yet. So you see how it starts to add up over the course of the day. So we normally blow past our threshold of 24 grams. So in your chat, I believe you said this hour, I think I'm able to see some of the conversation. I would love to, in the Q&A, I would love to know how much grams of sugar do you think you actually take in today? Let me see if I'm able to get this. If you could just type in, are you able to type into the chat?
No, not the chat. The chat's disabled.
So
I
we might be
just
able to do it in the
posted in the
question.
Yeah, so we'll
Q&A.
just pose the question and you tell me. I'm going to call some names. All right. And just based on what you've seen, and let me go back. So,
Sanasha,
yes,
I posted in the Q&A,
you
so I don't know
did.
if you can see it.
Yeah, sit in the Q&A. I'm able to see stuff in the Q&A. Okay. So Marceline says less than 24 grams. Once I started monitoring this, it was definitely a game changer for me as well. Anyone else? Veronica says more than 24 grams for sure. It's my weak point. Tylen, how much do you think you do? Throw it in the chat. Let's talk about it. Patty says I'm somewhere in the middle. Anna says well over 24 grams, maybe 4 or 5 times more. Candace says more than 24 grams for sure. So I wanted to really see these numbers and so that you're able to know that you're not alone. That's number one. Number two, a lot of times we're just not aware that the healthy, quote unquote, healthy food that is depicted or that is written on the label for marketing, it's not what it seems. So I need you to be more mindful. Tanya says somewhere probably in the middle. Tylen say, I think I do well over 24, but I have cut back a lot in the past 4 weeks. Tiffany says, I don't measure, so I don't know. That's my first problem. That is a problem tip. So we got to start measuring, okay? The numbers, you got to know your numbers. All right, so I want you to keep this number in mind as you go through your day. And I'm pretty sure there are days that I'm well over 24, sometimes twice as much or three times as much, especially on the days that I decide that I want to do 3 glasses of wine or 2 glasses of wine plus snacks and all of that. So, and I haven't touched anything about refined sugar or any of the other above that adds up and continue to add to the added sugar that we take in per day. Those were just snacks and just the daily stuff that we have in our cafeteria or our lunchrooms and the baskets in the lunchroom, etc. So just be mindful of those when you choose those types of snacks. All right. So at least I can check the live chat. So the fact is, the more sugar you eat, the more you crave. It is extremely, extremely addictive. Lab tests have shown that sugar can be more addictive than cocaine. And because it triggers our happy hormone called dopamine, giving us the pleasure response, we're completely hooked on sugar. Anna, you had your hand up. You had a question? Okay. You can unmute if you wanted to. Okay. All right. So you're not to be blamed, 100% for what's happening to us because the food manufacturing company, they have clever ways of enticing us with the food that we eat and the products that they produce to us. They spend millions on marketing, food design, and tasting so that it can trigger that dopamine that we have. And so we don't know it yet, but we end up in this weird, crazy sugar cycle that I want to walk you through, that I want you to also take a picture of this and either screenshot it or I'll send this out to you so that you know this sugar cycle. So first you eat sugar. You like it, you crave it. Then your blood sugar level spikes. That's where the dopamine is released into the brain, letting you know, yum, 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 this tastes great, eat some more. And then you get this high insulin level, causing immediate fat storage, immediate. So show of hands. Now it's time to show your hands. Show of hands if your midsection is not what you want it to look like. Boom, 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 boom. All right. Show of hands. Awesome. Well, don't be so harsh on your midsection anymore. It is really just an indication to you that you're taking in a lot and the body's doing exactly what it is supposed to do, which is to store the excess. Well, that excess that is storing is that excess sugar fat storage from the amount of sugar that we are eating. So once it does that, the blood sugar level falls rapidly. And then guess what? We start to hunger and crave, hunger and crave. And sometimes, again, show of hands, if you've eaten a bag of chips or a plate of food and felt guilty afterwards. Yes, same, same. Especially I used to do this during COVID. We used to eat just bags of chips in the bed as we binge eat. And sometimes you don't even know that you ate through that or you ate a meal and you're so full when you're done. It's because our hormone to let us know that we're full is completely depleted or ruined by this cycle. And to be able to reignite that and engage our hunger, and when we were full, we need to be mindful of how much sugar we're eating. So we're somewhere in this cycle, even right now as I speak. And what we're trying to do is to break this cycle. Okay? I hope that resonates. So your takeaways to becoming aware is to know your why, which is why is it important to know about sugar? Number one, and if you don't take anything else from this conversation, sugar is addictive. Recommended amount of sugar consumption for women, 24 grams per day. Just keep that number in mind. Also, be aware of the amount of sugar that's in your everyday food. Also, remember that your fat storage, your hunger, your cravings, they are directly related to the sugar cycle that our body goes through on a day-to-day basis. I'm going to pause for just a quick second and throw in the live, or you can come off mute, ask me any question about,
Hey, Donna.
yes.
There were two questions in the chat.
Okay.
One was, what if you have low blood sugar with numbers in the 40s and 50s?
So when it comes to that diabetes, because like I told you, my dad is on that, you have medication. I don't know if that person is on medication that they, Anna, you can't get off mute. Sorry. All right, I just did it.
Hello?
Yes, now I got it. Yeah, I just took
Okay.
it off mute. So that I always say, do what the doctor says first, right? That is something that has to be controlled. That means you're either already have diabetes or you're pre exposed to that. And so if you are already on medication, that's something that you definitely have to first speak with your doctor to see how you can slowly work your way off of that.
No, I'm not on any medication. I'm not diabetic. My
Okay.
A1C numbers were great. I just have low blood sugar.
But when you say low blood sugar, so do you walk around with a monitor?
I now I do
Okay.
because I'm pregnant.
Oh, ooh, Anna. Okay. So then how about natural sugars? So if you're low in blood sugar, doesn't mean that we have to eat something that's not it could be sugary or give you the sweet that you're looking for, but not necessarily a food item that's processed. So if you can move away from the processed sugar and go to natural sugar, then that will be better. So you will get to give you that number that you're looking for, that you need, versus you put in processed sugar in your body. That's
So I
what's
have the glucose drinks and tablets. Does that affect the grams of sugar?
it does. Have you looked at it? Look at the numbers.
Yeah, they're high.
They are very high.
Very
I
high.
think
Yeah.
you should start with like try fruits that has sugar in there. And I know Marceline, you may have some maybe some suggestion here for her also. But I would start with fruits. Eat your fruits. What kind of fruits do you eat? Or just test your body when it drops that low. See if
hmm
you eat an apple, if you eat something sweet like that, or a banana, or do your own smoothie that has a banana, maybe a little bit of honey, or something like that, where it's more natural to raise your sugar level because you're gonna need and sugar is the amount of sugar we put in is bad, but we need sugar for energy.
Right.
Right? And so I would be mindful. I would start to test my body to see if you're able to use more natural sugar to keep it level stable versus using processed glucose.
Okay.
Because that's a lot of sugar in the
hmm
glucose stuff.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. If fruit counts, then I'm definitely over 24 grams. But Marcy, but that's good sugar, right? Because that's not
Not the amount of grapes I eat
um
every day.
so then I'm glad that you said that. So now in your head, start to think about how you're going to reduce how many grapes you eat per day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Good conversation. Did I miss anyone? No. Okay.
No.
Sophie, you had a question, Sophia? Okay. Okay, so what are the benefits of reducing sugar? There are many, many, many benefits, but because I'm speaking to the audience of women who are at work or maybe you're remote and you're working 40, 50 hours per week, I really focused on two. And the first one is it helps to reduce your waste, right? Excess sugar, especially from added sugar, can lead to weight gain and that stubborn belly fat, which is the most common concern for us women is the belly fat. And so a study has shown that if you reduce your daily sugar intake by 25%, you can reduce your waist circumference by 2 inches over 6 months. Now, it sounds small, but when you gradually or incrementally reduce your inches 2 inches over every 6 months, you're in a great position for a better BMI. And once you start to fix your belly, you fix your gut, you heal a lot more than you even know. And so let's talk about what 25% really means. So when I first started out, let's use my coffee. I drink coffee every day. And if you're on the call, you should all know this, right? I used to have like 3 packets of brown sugar every day. Then I reduced it to 2, right? And then I reduced it to 1. So so as you reduce it and then take away, just like Marceline just spoke about her grapes, she can reduce that by 25%. So she, instead of eating 40, she now eats, I don't know how many you eat, Marcy. So then you'll probably eat half of that or a little bit more, go to 30. And then you just start to work your way down. And the more you do that and the more you stick to reducing the sugar, you will see your belly start to shrink. I know that for a fact because that is what I experience. So I want someone to come off mute and just tell me what sugar you're eating today that you think you can reduce it by 25%. I'm going to call on you, Tanya. What are you eating today that you think you're able to reduce it by 25%?
I don't know because I don't have a lot of something every day. I don't drink coffee daily. I don't drink tea daily necessarily. Maybe things that turn into sugar, rice, breads, that type of thing.
Yeah. Refined
But
sugars. Okay.
fruits as well. So probably that, being more mindful of the accumulation.
You're right. How they add up.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. All right, Veronica, how about you?
I'm a great one because I love Famous Amos cookies.
Famous Amos cookies. And how many of those you would say estimate that you eat
I would say
regularly?
a little like one of those the kids snack packs, one if not every night, one every other night.
Okay, so you already have something in mind. All right, so you already have, and that's just one thing, right? And we're not talking about all of the other things that we probably eat. So let's just keep that in mind.
I did stop drinking Coke because you really helped me with that, and that has actually helped a lot. I just have to stop the other stuff.
Okay, sounds good. All right. Julie, did Julie hang up? Julie's my Coke. She drinks a lot of Coca-Cola. All right, so let's keep moving on. So if you want to reduce your waste, then choose something and just start to intentionally reduce it by 25%. Okay? The next thing that it does is your boost of energy. And I think we all experience this 3 o'clock slump that we get in the office where our energy just drops in the middle of the day. What time do you normally get that drop in your energy? Just throw it in the live chat. Like, at what time do you feel that where your energy is done? You've done so much for the day, and 3 p.m. Candace is 3 p.m. Who else is experiencing that slump? 2 p.m. daily. I'm done. Marceline is done at 2 p.m. So this is real where we do get that energy drop. And according to a study with Harvard Health, high sugar consumption causes that rapid spike in glucose, like we just saw in the cycle. So it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. And then it leads to that crash and fatigue. And so if we are able to reduce our sugar, we will be able to maintain a better and a steady energy level throughout the day. And I don't know if you guys can see in the chat, but just so you know, like Anna is saying she can't keep her eyes open at 2 o'clock. Patty is saying 3 o'clock. Tanya is 1:30. Thailand is 2 to 3. So it's a real thing, right? We all experience it. And we are all experiencing the same thing because we're using and eating the same amount of sugar, just high levels of sugar in our diets every day. Okay. So according to I thought this was a fun survey. It takes about 15 minutes for people to turn to food to help them to get out of that rut, to get out of that slump. And this survey that was done last year between November 7th and November 8th, it shows that it kind of break down the snacks that we often reach for when we want to recharge or, give us that little oomph to get us over till 5 o'clock. Before I show you the snacks, in the live chat, just put in, what do you think is the most popular snack consumed when energy levels are low at work? Fruit, chips, chocolate, nuts, cookies. Let me see. Chips, Marcy. Chips, Tiny. Chips. Chocolate, Marcy. Chips and chocolate. I'm a chocolate girl myself. Chips, Tiffany. All right. I'm definitely chocolate, and if the chips has chocolate, that's a double whammy. So I win on that. Chocolate chip is my favorite. Absolutely love. Thailand is fruits. She eats pineapples at her desk when she gets hungry. Go Thailand. Chips and chocolate. Veronica. All right. So let me show you what they came up with. Interestingly, nuts are trail mix, followed by pretzels, then by chips and candy, and then chocolate. And we spoke a little bit about trail mix, and I was a little thrown off by the trail mix but then I thought about it. Some of the trail mix we have already has like chocolate in there, and it may have a little dried fruit in there also. So it has a mixture, so I can see how that helped. So takeaways. Reducing sugar can help you reduce your belly fat. Reducing sugar can help you boost your energy. It only takes reducing your consumption by 25% to start seeing some true results. I couldn't end the benefit part of this without mentioning that sugar also helps inflammation in the body. It also helps with chronic disease like diabetes, which I mentioned before. And it also helps with your gut. It is one of the most important habit that you should start to focus on and put it in your daily routine. It completely is a game changer. It's a complete game changer. All right. So how do we course correct? All right. So we want to move from her face. You see this facial expression? We want to move from here and get to this young lady over here. And we want to be able to spot your sugar trap. Then we need to either replace, reduce, or remove. Then we'll balance our meals, and then we'll learn to stick to it. So let's talk about these 4 steps, how to course correct. Before I jump into each of the steps, I want us to actually write this down. I'm going to ask you to write down some actions. And the reason I'm asking you to write, even though we're typing in the chat, when you make anything by writing, a word after a word after a word is power. There's power in writing. And so when you write it, it resonates with you, it sticks with you, you're accountable to it, and it's just more powerful. So if you do have a pen and a paper nearby, I would love for you to write these things, write the action that I'm going to ask you to take in this session. Okay. Cool. So step 1, spot the sugar traps. And we spoke a little bit about some of the traps that, like Veronica with the cookie, Marcy with the grape, right? Become intentional about discovering where sugar hides. Meaning, learn to spot the hidden sugars in your daily meals and snacks, especially the ones that you think are healthy. Read your labels. Do not overlook the labels. Look at the added sugar in your labels. You know what? I do have a breakdown of I have a PDF. I'm going to share it with you when I send out your thank you email. And it has like all the different variation of the word sugar that they throw on our labels. Let me write that as an action. And I'm going to send it to you so that you're able to easily identify the hidden sugars in the labels All right, so be intentional about it. Discover where sugar hides. So right now, I want you to write down what sugary item are you going to be working on to ditch, because this session is about ditching sugar, right? So I want you to write down which sugary item you are going to ditch. And for Tanya, if it's the refined sugar, choose one. And which one are you going to reduce? All right, give you 30 seconds, think about it, and just write it down. And while you write that down, I spoke to you about the coffee already, so you kind of understand, like, just choose something small, nothing big. It doesn't have to be anything grand. It could be something simple. Okay? Then your long-term action for this step is that you're going to scan the ingredient labels, track your sugar intake over the next 5 days so that you can see where that excess sugar sneaks in, right? So you'll be able to see, my breakfast is cool. I don't really consume as much sugar in the morning, but my lunch and the snacks in between, or maybe it's the dinner or the dessert after dinner, how often do you do that? Track yourself for 5 days and really get a feel of where you can make the adjustments. That's your long-term action. And write this down because I'm going to call on a few people to talk about what they chose. Okay, so the step 2 is reduce, replace, or remove. Swap sugar for smart choices. So start small by reducing sugar with simple swaps that are easy to maintain throughout your busy day. Choose and write down what you will do. Are you going to reduce it, replace it, or remove it? Like I mentioned, I went from 3 packets of sugar, reduced to 2, reduced to 1. Now I'm reduced to 0. As of like maybe 3 months ago, I no longer put sugar in my coffee. I also used to use cream, half and half. I no longer use that either. On one of our 6 weeks program that we did, it's like a reset program. Tiffany's on. She was on that program with me. She did a swap. She swapped out honey for monk fruit, I believe. Sophie is on the call. She swapped out. She used to drink a lot of condensed milk in her coffee. And if you're from the Caribbean, you understand what condensed milk is, massively sweet, right? And she totally reduced that a lot, right? So she only does that on the weekend, I think. I don't know how, if she's continuing with that habit, but try to write down, are you going to reduce it? Are you going to replace it or remove it? Like some people can just say, you know what? I no longer need honey in my coffee. Patty will probably not have honey. She would probably just go without anything, right? So what are you going to do with that one thing that you chose in step 1? Okay. And for long term, you're going to do that you chose for 14 days, and then gradually you add another change for another 14 days until you get to a place where it's reduced dramatically. But start small. All right, so that's step 2. Step 3 is we're going to balance our blood sugar with the food that we eat. So for lunch or for dinner, I want you to think of your meal with this hierarchy. Starting at the top, you need to have more protein on your plate. Then you have your vegetables, which includes your fiber. Then you have some healthy fats on the side, and then you have your natural carbs. And I say natural because Tanya spoke a little bit about refined sugars, like the pastas, the rice, and bread, and all of that. I'm not telling you to get off any of that, which the ladies on the call is probably like, really? You're not going to tell them to? You tell us to do it. But this call is not for that. This is to just help you to prioritize and balance your meal. So let's start rebuilding the way we eat our meal and make it more balanced by having more protein, then your vegetables, and then your carbs. Okay, so let's think of a sample lunch for next week because it's Friday, probably some happy hours happening after hours. Let's think about, a sample lunch for next week. You may have grilled chicken. So have a nice piece of grilled chicken or grilled piece of salmon, a beautiful salad or some cooked vegetables, roasted veggies, throw it in the oven, and then maybe a slice of sweet potato, something like that. Or you can save your sweet potato for your dinner. Or you can have quinoa. And so think of what you're going to have, because once you start to prepare your meals or prepare your lunch, especially for us at the office, preparing your lunch and preparing your snacks, you take the guess game out of what you're going to eat and put yourself back in control of what you do eat. Okay, so for long term, I would love for you to meal prep if you have not done this or you're not doing this. Prep 2 lunches next week along with 2 snacks. That supports your journey to start moving towards consuming less sugar. You got to write it down. Write it down and commit to it. All right, and then the last one is stick to it. I wanted to give you a workbook, but I didn't run out of time. I didn't have time to do your workbook. Plus, I decided you guys are not going to print it out anyway. So I want you on your phone to check off every day that you did something towards the one thing that you're going to reduce. I want you to do it for 7 days consistently. And if at that 7 days you only did 6, then I want you to give yourself a high five. If you only were able to complete 5, that's okay. Then you get back on track again and you do it again for another 7 days. But I need you to, the point of this is to track. When you consistently monitor and track your progress, your new habits starts to stick. And that is where we all fall apart, is that we don't stick and stay consistent with the habits that we're trying to do. All right, I'm gonna pause here for any questions, and I'm going to ask Patty to read out her step 1. What did you pick for your step 1, Patty? Did she drop? Patricia?
Yes. I just took myself off. Cappuccino at work.
Wow. Ooh. What are we
I know.
doing? Really?
Yeah.
Oh, how many of those do you have?
I only have one,
Okay. Every
but
day?
every time I'm in the office.
How
So
are
I
you
just
kind
going
of
to?
feel, I
Hey.
kind of feel, Zanasha, that you and I have left and something's going on
What's
with
happening?
her.
She reverted. I mean,
Ooh,
what is happening?
I
all
mean,
I'm
that's
gonna
the only
say.
thing I can think of, and the plantain chips. Those
All right,
two.
let's stick with the cappuccino. How are you going to reduce that? You only go to the office 3 times per week, so small steps. How are you going to reduce that?
So what I started
Are you going to
doing,
reduce it, replace it, or remove it?
replace it.
Okay, what are you going to replace it with?
Green tea.
Okay, so it's going to be green tea. You're going to replace it.
Yeah.
Okay, and what is a sample lunch that you're going to have next week?
Salmon, quinoa, and sweet potatoes.
Lovely. All right, so now you're going to just check off your green tea as you replaced it with the replacing from the cappuccino for 7 days, starting, 3 days next week, 3
Yeah.
days other. So your 3 days is not going to be consistent because you only go to the office 3 times a week and you don't have a cappuccino machine at home.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Who else? Veronica, I want to pick on you. What was your step 1?
Step 1 is cookies, and also to track the 24 grams of sugar a day more vigilantly.
Okay. So cookies, are you going to reduce it, replace it, or remove it?
Reduce to 1 time a week
Okay.
instead of multiple times a week for now.
Okay, that's good. That's small. Go small. All right. So you track that for the month, the rest of the month. So it's only once per week that you're going to do it. Right. And then check off every day that you don't do it and give yourself some kudos. And if
Yep.
you ended up doing it twice, then you need to just start over again and let's keep doing it until you get a nice full week.
Okay.
Oh, Breathe through it. And what's your sample lunch for next week?
I have grilled chicken salad with quinoa and avocado.
Lovely. All right.
And
And then you track that for 7 days.
yep.
Anna,
Yes,
how are you?
I'm good. So I usually have about 6 packets of sugar in my tea. Before I would have coffee, I'd cut the coffee out. And there would be 6 packets there. So definitely reduce that to 1 or 2.
Yeah, still don't go so far. Marcy would tell you, just do if you can do 5. Start with 5 or 4. And then as your taste bud get used to that, then go down to 3, right? Don't go so drastic because then that's where we fail with habits. Start small. Okay?
So 5.
5.
I think I can do 5.
You can do 5. Yeah. Do 5 for a week and then you go, okay, I did 5 for 7 days, not so bad. Then you do 4 and then you keep going. Okay?
Yes.
All right. And then you track that. So you're going to do reduce. And what's your lunch, sample lunch for next week?
So salmon for me as well.
Okay.
Baked sweet potato
Lovely.
and some broccoli or some type of vegetable.
Okay. Awesome. And then you track that for a whole week, right?
Yes.
So we're doing the
Yes.
balance. So you got to track it on your phone, however you track it. All right. Perfect. So love, 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 love. So I know we're almost at time. And so sticking to healthy habit rocks, right? It is the game changer of game changer. It transforms your body. It transforms your health. And I know that we work 40 hours a week and it's hard for us to stick to those habits. You know, we have long meetings or we have PI sessions that's 3 hours long and stuff like that. That's just like jacks up our schedule sometimes. But, you know, it's a tool that if you actually implement it, it will get you started. Before I move on, Candace, I just wanted to know what did you decide to do? Because I want to hold you accountable too. Oh, there you go. I just unmuted you. You can come off mute.
Unmute.
There you go.
Okay, perfect. I chose chocolates and bread, but that's usually when I have my cycle.
Well, okay. So how much chocolate do you normally do?
Every day of my cycle
Mm-mm,
for that
Candace.
week. For that
Candace.
week.
Candace.
Listen, it's a rough life when it's
No
that time.
judgment. No judgment. All right. So, no judgment there. All right. So, what are you going to do? Are you going to
So
reduce or replace?
the plan is to reduce to be able to remove it eventually.
Okay. And what numerical value are you going to use to reduce it? How do I know that you did reduce it? By what? By how much?
Um, Buying one chocolate and spreading it out for the week versus
Versus
buying a chocolate per
every
day.
day. Lovely.
Yes.
All right. Lovely. And a sample lunch for you? You do well with your lunch. I've seen.
Yeah, that's
That is
still
a
the norm for me. Baked
okay.
chicken, quinoa or veggies and avocado.
Lovely. All right. I'm holding everyone accountable. All right. All right. So sticking to healthy habit rocks, right? But even though it's hard, it's what we need to do and use it as your new tool to get to it. So how can we apply habit form and approach to be able to lose that fat and stick to it for a longer time, even with our demand and schedule? So you can take what I've taught you today and apply to anything or any habit that you want. Or I'm going to be starting a new program, which a lot of the ladies that's on this call, they have done it with me for 6 weeks. I'm starting one on the 10/25, and I wanted to use this opportunity to just tell you a little bit about it. And if you're interested, just throw yes in the live chat, and I will talk to you offline once we just jump off this call. But I wanted to give you an opportunity to let you know that many of the ladies that's on this call, they have done it and it has worked. It helps them to form habits that are unique just to them, like Tanya's habit is different from Tiffany's habits. That's different from Candace's habits. As you listen to the ladies on the call, you see the areas that are so different, and which is why diets fail, because not everyone can fit into that cookie cutter type of diets, right? It needs something that's unique to you that you can use in your everyday life. So it helps to take you by the hand, like I'm with you along the way, so you can start to lose fat and inches. No calories counting, long hours in the gym, all of that good stuff. I just wanted to talk a fact is that habit formation increases your chances of losing and sustaining weight loss by 75% over all other weight loss approach. And I know everyone on this call is on a weight loss approach or a weight loss journey or a health journey. And if you use the tool of just forming habits and trying to stick to it, it is a more sustainable weight loss for you than trying to cut calories and cut carbs and all of that stuff. Okay? So again, it's 6 weeks of group coaching, give you a lot of accountability. I give you a lot of support step by step. And it's going to be grouped with other corporate women just like yourself to encourage ourselves, because we're all going through the same and feeling the same things as we go along. So we first talk about why we're doing it. We do have weekly in-person training. It's 6 sessions. In the sessions, we talk about self-sabotage, because the old habits creeps back in. How do you stop that? How to eat versus what you eat. Talking about the stress. Talk about just not the number on the scale, all the other numbers. When you do your measurements, your waist, your legs, your, everything that's in there, how to track your progress, how to stay on track. Sometimes you feel stuck. You go on the scale 2 weeks in a row and you're the same weight. Do you get bogged down about it and you feel like you don't want to go forward? We'll help you get through and keep moving and stay on track. How small movements work, right? You get to lose 5 to 10 pounds, you melt inches, and you have a Facebook group if you wish to join. So, you want some consistent health routine. You want to feel motivated when you work out. You want to see inches fall off. You want to love your body, feel good, no more dieting. You want to build a lifestyle. And that is what I want for each and every one of you. All right. And I just wanted to show you a success story. When she did this program, she's working 50 to 60 hours a week. Despite going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, she didn't lose any weight or inches. And during the program, she brought 3 significant changes. She lost 7 pounds. She saw reduction in her inches. She lost weight, felt better. What she loved the most about coaching with Z was her ability to set realistic, attainable goals through simple modification. There's no need for calorie counting, right? Instead, we focus on educating me what to eat and how to maintain balances. And that's what you want. And I took a picture of and shared a picture of, what she looked like before and how she looked after, to see how the fat, and we talk about, where we have the fat storages and how it starts to just melt away. I do have this video and I will just do a little bit of it because we're running out of time.
I worked with the Children's Hospital as a medical staff manager. My weeks were sometimes long, 40 to 50, 55 hours per week. One of my biggest struggle before joining the program was just being consistent with my habits, how to make the right food choices,
and I'm going to stop here because consistency is the piece that really kills us. And I'm very cognizant of your time because, of course, I work also. So I'm going to pause this and I want you to just throw in the chat if you're interested in joining me. This is what the program costs, $497. No, you don't have to make any decisions today. Just want to throw it out there to you guys who are on this call. And I also want to give you a free one-on-one private session with me just for joining today. So I'm going to just throw in the chat, me, if you're interested. And then I will reach out to you and I'll reach out to you and then we'll talk about, what's blocking you, what do you want to change, what results you want to see in the next 42 days. That's right before Thanksgiving. So any questions for me before you drop, because it's 101. No question? Huh?
My chat is disabled.
I can't hear you.
My chat is disabled.
Sophie?
Yeah. My chat is disabled.
Your chat is disabled? Oh, yeah, it was they were doing it in a live, but you can tell me.
Yeah.
You can throw it in the chat. All right. So Candace, yes. All right. Okay, so I will send a link out. Sophie, did you want to say something? I can't hear you. All right. All right, ladies. Give me a thumbs up or a high five if you thought this was if it was good for you and you learned something new or you're gonna take away something. Perfect. Thank you. All right. So what to look forward to next time is that you'll get an email from me. You'll get the links to the detox thing. And you'll get that thing that I promised you with the different types of sugar. And then I'll reach out to each of you to get you on my schedule to have a conversation. Okay? All right. You can come off
Thank
mute
you,
and say
Donna.
bye-bye.
Thank you.
You are welcome. Bye, guys.
Thank
Bye,
you.
sweetie.
Thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.